Wow, you probably weren't able to hear me that entire time, huh? I have my microphone on mute. Can you hear me? Boom. There we go. My apologies. Welcome back, episode 4. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me again. I appreciate it. First things first, hit that like button so this can be shared with people like yourself that would enjoy to listen to this, join in, something that they can benefit from, and it'll get spread across all of the platforms here on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and LinkedIn. So hit that like button so it can get shared and join the chat. Okay, it's very important that we join in the chat. We want this podcast to be something that's more of a community based podcast so we can continue to bounce ideas and conversations off of each other. So hit that like button and join me in the chat. Let me know how you are, what's going on today, what you got planned, what's on your mind, what's keeping you up, what's making you sleep well, whatever the case may be. Put it in the chat. It could be you got a new pair of shoes yesterday. Put that in the chat. Whatever it is, we want to have this as more of a conversation. All right. So let me dive into what we're going to discuss today. We're going to get 7 tips for enhancing your intuition. And as always, ask a question or share a story that you may have. Okay. Again, if you're just tuning in, I appreciate you jumping on. Hit that like button so we can keep sharing with everybody around the social media world and get that information out there to everybody that may want to hear it, enjoy hearing it, and whatnot. And again, we appreciate you guys constantly jumping on. So, without further ado, I saw a couple of people just jump on. We're going to be talking about the 7 tips of enhancing your intuition. So, make sure you ask a question or share a story in the chat. This is about a community podcast, and you guys are awesome. You keep giving us stuff to talk about each and every day. So I would run out of ideas. I mean, I like to chit chat. I could talk all day, but however, I want to be able to talk about things that are of interest to you. So let's jump on over before we get to number 1. Uh, why do why are there times that you it seems to have other people seem to have a better intuition than ourselves? Perhaps you believe that you have a lack of intuition altogether. Your mind is constantly giving you feedback. You're either not receiving the message or you're misinterpreting the signs. When you're uncertain about how to proceed, your intuition can provide valuable feedback. It it's a mistake to only rely on logic when you have other tools at your disposal. Give your intuition a chance. All right. So let's figure out how we can learn to cultivate and use our intuition here. So we're going to jump on over to number 1. We're going to practice addressing and listening to your intuition. Okay. So that's the first thing that we need to do here. You probably already do this, just not at a sufficient level. When faced with multiple possibilities, give your intuition a chance to chime in. Start with little things like, should I go to the movies with Sally or should I stay home? Ask yourself these types of questions as they come up in your life and notice the response that you will receive. And I know we all do this. We all have a certain situation that comes up. Somebody asks if you want to go on a run today or you want to drive down to such and such house, join this party, whatever it is. We all have that. And immediately we always receive an answer. Immediately we all have that answer. And yet, oftentimes we decide to not go with that first answer for whatever the reason it may be. We don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. We don't want to sound like we don't care about them. Whatever the case may be, we get that answer straight away. And instead of using that answer, we take a couple seconds or minutes to think about it. And then we don't get back to the person, or the answer that we actually give is not the answer that we want to give. Give that first one. All right. My mother used to always say, give that first mind. And that's something her grandmother used to say. And it's usually right. It's usually right. That first thing that pops into your head, more often than not, is the answer that you should be given. And it's the one that most of the times your friends, the true friends, do want to hear it. So go ahead and give that intuition a chance to get things going for you. All right. So let's jump on over to number 2 here. Notice how your intuition communicates with you, right? We all have different ways that we may be communicated to with our inner workings. So there's no one size fits all, but we have to be able to recognize how that is communicating with us. So it might be in the form of a verbal response. In many cases, you'll get a feeling in your body that might take the form of feeling in your stomach, your chest, and your head. It could reveal itself as a sense of calmness, knowing, or anxiety. You already experience these types of feelings when faced with something you fear. Your intuition is speaking to you. You already know how that feels. You also know when something feels right. So, for those that might walk at night, you get that gut feeling like, this just doesn't seem right. It's not the time to go. And you'll listen to yourself there. You need to be able to take that same thought process, the same feelings that you get there, and apply it to everything else in our lives there, and be able to adapt that intuition that way. And that's a good way of looking at it there. I know when I used to travel and I'm going to unfamiliar places, if something just feels a little off, just doesn't feel quite right, then I'm going to change my plans up and go with my gut on that one. And that's the intuition stepping in on there. Anybody got one for me? Anybody got something where you're just thinking, oh, my intuition is telling me this or it's telling me that, with a new job offer, or dating someone new, or even with going and talking to strangers that we were discussing in the last podcast? If you do, put it in the chat. We can bring it up and we can chit chat about it. Like I said, this is about you guys. It's about the community here. It's about talking about subjects that you're wanting to hear. So dive into that there, message me, and we can keep that rocking and rolling for you. All right, so let's go on over to number 3 here. And it's going to be follow your intuition blindly in trivial matters. So show your intuition that you're willing to listen when faced with non-pressuring matters, such as whether to have a cup of coffee or tea. Just do what your intuition tells you. You might go for a joyride and allow your intuition to choose all the turns. Pay attention to where you end up. Maybe your intuition is trying to get you to try a new path, go somewhere different, try something new, see something you haven't seen before, guiding your journey. Are you capable of just allowing that to just happen and just go with the flow? I know I try to occasionally go on different journeys on the way to the kids' school, to the gym. If we got to go to the store, I do like to try to take a different street here or there, and it just changes things up, makes things a little bit different, somewhat enjoyable. But what's really enjoyable about going to the grocery store? If you go with my wife, she's going to go down every aisle. So, yeah, we're not gonna talk too much about that one. Again, thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in, hit that thumbs up button so we can share it with the rest of the social media world. Feel free to chime in on the chat and let us know what your thoughts are with intuition. If anything that I'm saying is resonating with you, even if it's not resonating with you, feel free to chime in on that. All right. So I'm going to go over to number 4 now, which is meditation helps. And if you're anything like the few people that I hang around, they don't really like meditation. They're not really up for meditation. That's not really something that they enjoy doing, but I enjoy meditation. I found it something that has worked for me incredibly over the last decade, and I will continue to do it, continue to kind of hone in on it and enhance my meditation abilities. Your intuition might be talking to you, but you're not getting the message. With everything else going on in your head, you might not even notice that your intuition is trying to communicate with you. Meditation can quiet the mind enough to notice that your intuition, or what your intuition is saying. So for me, the reason that meditation is important for me is, if you know me, I'm a high energy guy. I'm constantly going. I'm always doing 2 or 3 things at one time. And when I take just 10, 20 minutes to sit down and meditate, it allows me to slow everything down, take a deep breath, relax, and just allow different thoughts to come to me. And I allow them to come in and move out and come in and move out. And if there's something that really catches me, then I'll kind of think on that for a little bit and enjoy that process there. So try it out. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You're not going to be levitating or anything like that. No, I'm not saying that. It's just taking a moment to calm down. We're constantly waking up, rushing to work, rushing to lunch, rushing back to work, finishing work, rushing home, taking care of the kids, rushing to get everything done. Everybody's finished. You go to sleep. You wake up and do it again. We need to be able to find a time to carve out 5, 6 minutes a day just to relax, just allow our brains to calm down and just slowly finish out the day. So if you're up for taking a meditation break, shoot a yes in the chat. So I know you're there. Shoot a yes. Yes, I'm up for trying that. 5 minutes, maybe even 4 minutes. Maybe that's all you need. Shoot a yes in the chat. Whatever social platform you're on, put it yes in the chat. If you tried meditation, let me know. If you haven't and you're thinking about doing it, go ahead and jump in there and let us know in the community here so we can keep everybody going on this. All right, so we're going to move on over to number 5. And number 5 is spend time in a new environment. Okay, let me jump over here like that. Your thoughts and feelings become habits that are partially dependent on your surroundings. You tend to think and feel a certain way at home. Same goes for work. Give your intuition room to maneuver by spending time someplace out of the ordinary for you. Time at a library, a park, a coffee shop might be open. They might open the lines of communication to allow us to think about something differently. And again, it goes back to when you're taking a different route to work or to school or to the grocery store. How often, when you're taking a different path, are you thinking differently because now you're not on autopilot, right? And again, it goes back to, I believe it was the first episode when I mentioned the acronym ANT, which is ANTS. It's automatic negative thoughts. And that's what I was trying to recall. And I actually put that back in the show notes from last time. But those thoughts reoccurred. And we have a ridiculous amount of those thoughts that constantly hit us on a day-to-day basis. But allowing us to step into a different area, a different scenario, a different scenery allows us to take in different thoughts, take in different visions and visuals, which allow us to move away from the thoughts that we are constantly having on a day to day. So today, when you're taking your walk, take a different path. Go the opposite direction. Maybe you always go in a clockwise direction, go in a counterclockwise direction. Maybe you always go to the fountain and then the coffee shop. Maybe go to the coffee shop and take your drink over to the fountain and sit down at the fountain and see something new. And maybe this time, instead of just saying, "Hey Frank, how are you doing today?" How about, "Hey Frank, how was your day yesterday?" And get a little bit more involved in that conversation so that you're not set in that same routine, and this will allow those new fresh thoughts to come in. Hey. Appreciate you jumping in. Jump into that chat. Don't be afraid, guys. Jump into that chat. This is a podcast for the communities. It's for you. So don't be afraid to say hello. Say what's going on. Say where you're viewing from. If you're enjoying this, and then again, make sure you're hitting that like button. I'm gonna keep saying it because I gotta get it in there. More of a natural feel to hit that like button so everyone else around us can see that. All right, so let's go into number 6, which is going to be do something that engages your mind at a low level. Okay, so um, have you ever noticed that many of your best ideas come while you're in the shower, driving down the hallway or highway, or mowing the grass? I know that happens for me quite often. It's because your mind is partially occupied. You have to pay attention to what you're doing, but your mind isn't so engaged that it can't wander a bit. And those are my favorite times. I love where my mind just kind of just goes, and it's actually in one of the verticals that I want to focus on. So be it improvement for self-improvement, be it improvement for the gym, being a parent, being a better husband. Those, I love when those thoughts come in, and I like to keep a notepad right outside the shower, because when I'm in the shower there, those are usually when those thoughts come to me, and I quickly jot something down. I keep a notepad next to my bed. It's usually right before I fall into that sleep that I get a couple thoughts, and I will roll over and jot those down. Or even when I'm first thing when I wake up, I'll jot those notes down, because oftentimes the way my mind is working when I am in that relaxed, calm state, it just works well for me. And I want to know if that works well for you guys as well. So put it in the chat. Let me know what's going on. Hey, Keisha, appreciate you saying hey. Hope you're doing well out there. East Coast, Tennessee, or you back over here in California? Let me know what's going on. Um, yeah, so that was number 6, and we're gonna dive into number 7, our final piece for the day, and that's gonna be keep track of your results. So I kind of got ahead of that on that one there. So let me get back over here so you can see me once more. In general, is your intuition providing helpful and accurate feedback? Notice the situations where the results are positive and those that are negative. You'll be able to trust your intuition in more areas of your life over time. It's important to understand that your intuition is flawed. It's flawed because of your fears and misconceptions. For example, if you never get a good vibe about spending time with someone new, if you have a social anxiety issue, okay, so that's some of the situations there. However, you already know a lot of things. So let me jump back here. Trust yourself, trust your intuition. Your intuition is going to be your best piece of judgment there, your best piece of your best tool to allow you to move forward, advance yourself. It's going to allow you to try new things. It's also going to keep you safe. Just listen to it and recognize that it's there. And if it goes to what we discussed yesterday, knowing when you can talk to those strangers, when to engage with those strangers, and when possibly not to. Hopefully, you guys take that in, and you already have a lot of life experience. The vast wisdom resulting from those two things is locked inside of you. Your intuition uses that information to guide you if you listen to it. Okay, you guys got this. Continue to move forward. Keep rocking. I appreciate you guys constantly getting with me. Keisha's out in Tennessee. It's probably nice out there right now. I appreciate you guys constantly rocking with me, jumping on here every day. This is episode number 4. We got episode number 5 jumping on tomorrow again. Make sure you like it, you share it with your friends. Constantly jump on with me. Give me feedback inside of the chat. This way we can keep the conversation going with the community. This way we can continue to discuss things that you're wanting to hear, you're wanting to chat about. And the goal here is to hopefully get more of you on with me, and maybe we could do a side-by-side split screen. We can have a discussion, and everybody can chime in with information that you're able to give, you sharing a story. So if that's something that you want to do, hit that thumbs up button, share with somebody, and get that rocking and rolling. And boom, let's throw that up on the screen. And Keisha says, great show. Not only fitness for the body, but fitness for the mind. Exactly. That's what we want to do. We want to be as well-rounded as possible. It does no good for us to look awesome on the outside, but our insides are constantly struggling. So that's what we want to do. We want to take care of the body and the mind and everything in between. So if you're enjoying the show, give that thumbs up. Make sure you get something in the chat. And we will see you same time tomorrow. Thank you for joining. Lions, that's what it was, right? Our Lions, strength, courage, and justice. So we'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. And as always, be better than yesterday.